Good morning, dear students. I hope you people are fit and fine. As you know that online classes has been suspended due to order of the dean and administration. So I am uploading the videos on the topics of our syllabus of subjects public international law. You know that in online mode on course site with Blackboard we were discussing recognition of states. We have discussed that meaning of recognition, theories of recognition, and recognition of state, de jure recognition, de facto recognition, etc. In furtherance of that online lecture, today I am going to discuss recognition of governments. Okay, so recognition of a new government is quite different from the recognition of new state. As far as statehood is concerned, the factual situation will be examined in terms of the accepted criteria. Different considerations where it is the government which different considerations apply where it is the government which changes. Recognition will only really be relevant where the change in government is unconstitutional. In addition, recognition of governments as a category tends to minimize the fact that the precise capacity or status of the entity so recognized may be characterized in different ways. Recognition may be of a de facto recognition may be of a de facto government or administration or of a government or administration in effective control of only part of the territory of the state in question. Recognition constitutes acceptance of a particular situation by the recognizing state, both in terms of the relevant factual criteria and in terms of the consequential legal repercussions. For example, recognition of an entity as the government of a state implies not only that this government is deemed to have satisfied the required conditions, but also that the recognizing state will deal with the government as the governing authority of the state and accept the usual legal consequences of such status in terms of privileges and immunities within the domestic legal order. Political considerations have usually played a large role in the decision whether or not to grant recognition. Certain criteria have emerged to cover recognition of illegal change in the government. Such criteria amounted to an acceptance of the realities of the transfer of power and suggested that once a new government effectively controlled the country and that this seemed likely to continue, recognition should not be withheld. The United Kingdom on a number of occasions adopted this approach. It was declared by the Under Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs in 1970 that the test employed was whether or not the new government enjoyed with a reasonable prospect of permanence, the obedience of the mass of the population, effective control of much of the greater part of the territory of the state concerned. It is this attitude which prompted such policies of the recognition of the communist government of China and the Russia installed government of Hungary in 1956 after the failure of the uprising. However, this general approach cannot be regarded as an absolute principle in view of the British refusal over many years to recognize as states North Vietnam, North Korea and the German Democratic Republic. The effective control of a new government over the territory of the state is thus an important guideline to the problem of whether to extend recognition or not. Providing such control appears well established and likely to continue. But it was not more than that, and in many cases appeared to yield to political considerations. In Tinoco arbitration case, it was the case of 1923. 1923 का एक केस है. So Tinoco arbitration constitute an interesting example of the effective control concept. In 1919, 1919 में, the government of Tinoco in Costa Rica was overthrown, and the new authorities repudiated certain obligations entered into by Tinoco with regard to British nationals. Chief Justice Taft, the sole arbitrator, referred to the problems of recognition or non-recognition as relating to the Tinoco administration. He decided that since the administration was in effective control of the country, it was the valid government irrespective of the fact that a number of states, including the United Kingdom, had not recognized it. This was so despite his opinion that the non-recognition by other nations of a government claiming to be a national personality is usually appropriate evidence that it has not attained the independence and control entitling it by international law to be classed as such. Where recognition has been refused because of the illegitimacy or irregularity of origin of the government in question, rather than because of the lack of effectiveness of its control in the country, such non-recognition loses some of its evidential weight. In other words, where the degree of authority asserted by the new administration is uncertain, recognition by other states will be a vital factor. But where the new government is firmly established, non-recognition will not affect the legal character of the new government. The doctrine of effective control is an indication of the importance of the factual nature of any situation. But in those cases where recognition is refused upon the basis of the improper origins of the new government, it will have less of an impact. It will have less of an impact than if recognition is refused because of the absence of effective control. Taft's view of the nature of recognition is an interesting amalgam of the declaratory and constitutive theory. In that recognition can become constitutive where the factual conditions, the presence or absence of effective control are in dispute, but otherwise is purely declaratory or evidential. A change in government, however accomplished, does not affect the identity of the state itself. The state does not cease to be an international legal person because its government is overthrown. That is not an issue. The recognition or non-recognition of a new administration is irrelevant to the legal character of the country. Accordingly, one can see that two separate recognitions are involved and they must not be confused. Recognition of a state will affect its legal personality, whether by creating or acknowledging it, while recognition of a government affects the status of the administrative authority, not the state. So, recognition of state and recognition of government is different thing. It is possible, however, for recognition of state and government to occur together in certain circumstances. This can take place upon the creation of new state. Israel, to take one example, was recognized by the United States and UK by the expedient of having its government recognized de facto. Recognition of the government implies recognition of the state, but it does not work the other way. It should not be it should be noted that recognition of a government has no relevance to the establishment of new persons in international law. Where it is significant, is in the realm of diplomatic relations. If a government is recognized, there is no exchange of diplomatic envoy and problems can arise. If a government is unrecognized, there is no exchange of diplomatic envoy and thus problems can arise as to enforcement of international rights and obligations. Although the effective control doctrine is probably accepted as the most reliable guide to recognition of governments, there have been other theories put forward, the most prominent amongst them being the Tobar doctrine or the so-called doctrine of legitimacy. This suggested that governments which came into power by extra-constitutional means should not be recognized, at least until the change had been accepted by the people. So ये टोबर डॉक्ट्रिन जिसको कि डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लेजिटिमेसी कहते हैं. This policy was applied particularly by the United Nations in relation to Central America and was designed to protect stability in that delicate area adjacent to the Panama Canal. Logically, the concept amounts to promotion of non-recognition in all revolutionary situations, and was difficult to reconcile with reality and political consideration. In American eyes, it became transmuted into the Wilson policy of democratic legitimacy. Where the revolution was supported by the people, it would be recognized. Where it was not, there would be no grant of recognition. It was elaborated with respect to the Soviet Union in 1933, but gradually declined until it can now be properly accepted merely as a political qualification for recognition to be considered by the recognizing state. A doctrine advocating the exact opposite, the automatic recognition of government in all circumstances, was put forward by Estrada. Estrada was Mexican Secretary of Foreign Relations और उन्होंने जो डॉक्ट्रिन दिया उसको कहा जाता है एस्ट्राडा डॉक्ट्रिन. But this suffers from the same disadvantage as the legitimacy doctrine. Estrada doctrine attempt to lay down a clear test for recognition in all instances, excluding political considerations and exigencies of state, and is thus unrealistic, particularly where there are competing governments. It has been criticized as minimizing the distinction between recognition and maintenance of diplomatic relations. The problem, of course, was that recognition of a new government that has come to power in a non-constitutional fashion was taken to imply approval. Allied with the other factors sometimes taken into account in such recognition situations, an unnecessarily complicated process had resulted. Accordingly, in 1977, the United States of America declared that US practice has been to de-emphasize and avoid the use of recognition in cases of change of governments and to concern ourselves with the question of whether we wish to have diplomatic relation with the new governments. The administration's policy is that establishment of relations does not involve approval or disapproval, but merely demonstrates a willingness on our part to conduct our affairs with other government directly. In 1980, UK government announced that it would no longer accord recognition to governments as distinct from states. This was stated to be primarily due to the perception that recognition meant approval, a perception that was often embarrassing, for example, in the case of regimes violating human rights. There were practical advantages in not according recognition as such to governments. This change to a policy of not formally recognizing government had in fact taken place in certain civil law countries rather earlier. Belgium and France appear to have adopted this approach in 1965. By the late 1980s, this approach was also adopted by the Australia and Canada and indeed by other countries. For example, Netherlands, New Zealand, etc. The change, however, did not remove all problems, but rather shifted the focus from formal recognition to informal dealings. The UK announced that it would continue to decide the nature of dealings with unconstitutional regime. So UK announced that in the light of an assessment of whether they are able of themselves to exercise effective control of the territory of the state concerned and seem likely to continue to do so. The change, therefore, my dear student, the change is that recognition of government is abolished, but that the criteria for dealing with such regimes is essentially the same as the former test for the recognition of government. In that context, regard should also be had to the phrase of themselves. However, this change of policy should not be taken as meaning that no significant comments as to change of government would be in controversial circumstances and it did not apparently preclude the exceptional recognition of government as such. For example, following the elections in the Cote d'Ivoire, a country है Cote d'Ivoire, in November 2010, and the acceptance by ECOWAS and the African Union of the election of Mr. Ouattara and the hostility of the sitting president, the UK recognized Mr. Ouattara as the democratically elected president of the country. Further, UK decided in 27 July 2011 to recognize and deal with the Libyan National Transitional Council, which was engaged in an armed conflict with the Gaddafi government in that country as the sole governmental authority in Libya. This recognition of the council as the government of Libya was affirmed in the executive certificate dated on 24th August 2011 in British Arab Commercial Bank versus the National Transitional Council of the State of Libya. So this has been the elaboration and explanation about the recognition of governments. Now, next point is withdrawal of recognition. क्या रिकॉग्निशन को विड्रॉ किया जा सकता है? Recognition once given may in certain circumstances be withdrawn. This is more easily achieved with respect to de facto recognition, as that is by its nature a cautious and temporary assessment of a particular situation. Where a de facto government loses the effective control it once exercised, the reason for recognition disappears and it may be revoked. It is in general a preliminary acceptance of political realities and may be withdrawn in accordance with a change in political factors. De jure recognition, on the other hand, is intended to be more of a definitive step and is more difficult to withdraw. Of course, where a government recognized de jure has been overthrown, a new situation arises and the question of a new government will have to be faced. But in such instances, withdrawal of recognition of the previous administration is assumed and does not have to be expressly stated, providing always that the former government is not still in existence and carrying on the fight in some way. Withdrawal of recognition of one government without recognizing a successor is a possibility, and indeed was the approach adopted by UK and France, for example, with regard to Cambodia in 1979. However, with the adoption of the new British policy on recognition with regard to governments, The position is now that the UK government will neither recognize nor withdraw recognition of regimes. Withdrawal of recognition in other circumstances is not a very general occurrence, but in exceptional conditions it remains a possibility. The United Kingdom recognized the Italian conquest of Ethiopia de facto in 1936 and de jure 2 years later. However, it withdrew recognition in 1940 with the intensification of fighting and the dispatch of military aid. Recognition of belligerency will naturally terminate with the defeat of either party, while the loss of one of the required criteria of statehood would affect recognition. It is to be noted that in 1979, recognition of the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China entitled the withdrawal of recognition or de-recognition of the Republic of China, Taiwan. This was explained to mean that so far as the formal foreign relations of the United States are concerned, a government does not exist in Taiwan any longer. आपको पता है कि ताइवान में भी एक गवर्नमेंट है और चाइना में भी है, तो अमेरिका ने बाद में जो चाइना मेन लैंड की जो गवर्नमेंट है पीपल्स रिपब्लिक ऑफ चाइना उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, रिकॉग्नाइज कर लिया। तो एक समय पे एक ही सरकार को तो रिकॉग्नाइज करेंगे कि जो वैलिड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है। Nevertheless, this was not to affect the application of the laws of the United States with respect to Taiwan in the context of US domestic law. To some extent, in this instance, the usual consequences of non-recognition have not flowed, but this has taken a place upon the background of a formal and deliberate act of policy. It does show how complex the topic of recognition has become. The usual method of expressing disapproval with the actions of a particular government is to break diplomatic relations. This will adequately demonstrate aversion, as did, for example, the rupture in diplomatic relations with the UK and USSR in 1927 and between some Arab countries and the United States in 1967, without entailing the legal consequences and problems that a withdrawal of recognition would initiate. But one must refuse the ending of diplomatic relations with a withdrawal of recognition. Since recognition is ultimately a political issue, no matter how circumscribed or conditioned by the law, it logically follows that should a state perceive any particular situation as justifying a withdrawal of recognition, it will take such actions as it regards as according with its political interest. So recognition is a political act of existing state, although it is a very complex notion of the international law. I hope this video will be fruitful to understand and unlock the concept and theories of the recognition. Thank you very much.